Okay, for this little build, I've decided to make a mag build that is extremely fun with select few weapons. And before we even bother about shouting in the comments or whatever, saying, "Oh, why do you use magnetize but you don't use stuff like an arcoplasma or blah blah blah," I'm fully aware that mag with very certain weapons have extreme overkill potential. This is not what that build is about. This is more of a pure fun sort of build. You can take this to level cap. It is extremely fun. It's extremely stupid as well. But this is the build. I've called it the C.T.D, which stands for Catastrophic Testicular Devastation, and you'll see why. But basically, all we're focusing on is pull and magnetize. You don't have to use polarize in this build, and you don't really have to use your main ability, which is, I literally can't remember the name of it, Crush. You can choose something else for helmet. I went for Blood Altar just because survivability. There's definitely other ones out there that are better, or slightly better or whatever, but this is the one I prefer running with because you can cast it while you're inside, while an enemy is inside magnetize. Anyway, so basically we want as much strength as possible. I know you can definitely go higher. I've got the higher version on Wisp. I just couldn't be bothered to keep formering over and over. Prime Sure-Footed is not 100% necessary. But the only thing that is completely necessary on this build is just anything to make your strength go very high. I found that 300% or 250 to 300% is around the sort of mark you're aiming for in order to make this really worthy of endurance runs with Steel Path. But other than that, not super important past 250. Rolling Guard or... where is it? Adaptation, completely up to you. You can switch them out if you like. It really just depends on how you play. Normally I use this as a camping survival, so I don't really use adaptation because I just shove a magnetized bubble in the middle of the doorway, so everything that tries to get through just immediately hits that. But anything that does get through, at least I have Rolling Guard to give me a last second save. Okay, so the weapon of choice that I will be using today, and this does work with a couple of weapons, but as far as I'm concerned, it works best with the Penta, or the Secura Penta, so we can get that crit chance and crit multiplier up a little bit. This works best if you have a Riven. We are going for a crit build, and yes, I am fully aware that this weapon is completely and utterly dog shit. I am completely aware, don't you worry. But I will show you why it's made for this build. I would do this in a survival, but as I've said in previous videos, my editing skill is absolutely horseshit. So first off, we just cast pull to grab them all, and then when they're all bunched, we just cast our magnetize, and then we just listen to the most beautiful noise you'll ever hear. And the funny thing about it is the pentanades that you shoot in there are remote detonation. So on the floor somewhere, we might see them, I don't know. They're still on the floor, so if we cast another bubble, the bubble will just pick up those nades. It's not really a build used for killing, and just to prove how terrible this weapon is, I'll detonate them. It does almost fuck all damage. This is not used as a killing build per se, although you can use it as an endless killer in Steel Path Endurance, because of it's just a constant repeat. A second a bubble goes down, just shove another bubble down and it'll pick up the nades that you shot before. Yeah, but essentially what you want to do, just to play this build, is cast your 1, and then your 2, and then shoot a bunch of nades into it. And if you do want to use it effectively on Steel Path, then yeah, probably use Polarize. But outside of that, don't really need to. And with the Penta, just shoot the nades, but don't actually explode the nades. If you explode the nades, then you're kind of defeating the point of the build. But the fun little thing is the crit chance and the crit multiplier and the status and all of this is applied to the actual nade itself, not just the radial attack, which is just hilarious. But yeah, the reason I call it the catastrophic testicular devastation is purely because imagine getting slapped in the nuts by a little fucking rock pebble looking thing traveling at 400,000 miles an hour over and over and over and over again. It's got to feel bad.